A statement from Neil deGrasse Tyson. The universe isn't just greater than we can imagine. Under most scales, it is greater than we can ever imagine. Does the universe have an end and a beginning? Has the James Webb Telescope finally found the edge of the observable universe? Since ancient times, we have wanted to know how large the world we live in is. Meticulously, we search for limits and insights, and in doing so, our understanding has continued to expand. In the past, the edge of the world was somewhere beyond the horizon. Today, we use telescopes to scan the universe for clues about whether our universe is a finite space. We may now have achieved a definitive breakthrough in this fundamental question with the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST. Whether the universe has an edge isn't really the question. It certainly has one. But we don't know if this edge is truly the end of the universe or of creation itself. An edge could also be like a border that leads into another universe or into previously unknown dimensions. Our Earth has an edge, as does the solar system and the galaxy. However, the universe doesn't end there. Neil deGrasse Tyson is entirely correct that the issue with the size of the universe is in our minds, not in the universe itself. The universe is greater than we can imagine. We search for its beginning and end, whether in space or in time, and we use relatively humble instruments to do so. With our telescopes, we are currently observing about 46.5 billion light-years in every direction, which means we're looking at a total span of about 93 billion light-years. So far, there's been no definitive endgame, and the vast number of stars, galaxies, and phenomena we have found in this space is beyond comprehension. If it would take us millennia to explore and study every corner of the universe that we already know about, why do we keep looking? Driven by insatiable curiosity, we push further and further. We want to know if the universe has an edge, and what it might look like. The JWST might finally reveal this edge to us. Does the universe have a beginning? Neil deGrasse Tyson stated, "The James Webb Space Telescope detects objects in the darkness that, according to the best estimates we have, are massive, fully developed galaxies. We humans are limited thinkers. To us, everything has a beginning and an end. We naturally think in terms of finite objects and spaces. However, anyone who studies the universe quickly encounters the limits of thought and perception. To understand the incomprehensible dimensions of the universe, most of us must stretch the boundaries of our knowledge. The sheer size of what we have seen so far, the number of stars, the uncountable planets, and the strangest cosmic phenomena, pushes the limits of what our minds can grasp. This is why astronomers and cosmologists must strive to be among the most open-minded and imaginative people. And yet, even modern scientists must confront the reality that they are still thinking within limits. The JWST is now pushing scientists to their boundaries. Established theories and truths are shaking. It's quite possible that our understanding of the universe will take another leap forward, as it did centuries ago when we recognized that the Earth is round and not flat. Shocking discoveries of the James Webb Telescope. The JWST has revealed 6 galaxies that are so old and so perfectly developed that they shouldn't exist. These findings contradict expectations of what the dark ages of the universe should look like. The telescope was designed to explore the dark ages, the era when the first stars were forming. But instead of protostars and infant galaxies, the JWST has shown us rows of perfectly formed and ancient-looking galaxies. Are we truly observing the beginning of the universe, the temporal edge? Or is it possible that the Dark Ages never really existed? Perhaps humans simply invented this concept because we lack the tools to know otherwise. Further evidence from the JWST. The 6 galaxies aren't the only groundbreaking discoveries from the JWST. The telescope has also discovered a massive cluster of galaxies that existed much earlier than we believe possible. Galaxy clusters are groups of thousands of galaxies bound together by gravity. Until now, we thought individual stars formed first, then star clusters, then galaxies, and finally galaxy clusters. But this discovery has turned that understanding on its head. Some of the galaxies identified by the JWST have a redshift greater than 10, meaning they existed when the universe was only 2% of its current age, just a few 100,000 years after the Big Bang. Time and space. 2 moving targets. When we search for the universe's edges, We face a paradox. To find something in space as it exists now, we would need to observe it in real time. But light takes time to travel across space. Imagine you're searching for the walls of a massive, dark concert hall. There are tiny LED lights scattered throughout the room, visible only faintly from a distance. You don't know how big the room is, nor can you see the walls. You would have to search for the edges by feeling your way around. This isn't possible for us in the universe, because we can't physically traverse it. Instead, we use telescopes to look further and further into space. But here's the catch. As we observe, the universe is expanding, so the walls of space are moving away even as we try to find them, breaking limits of thought. Have you ever considered that it might be a mistake to search for boundaries or a beginning? Perhaps this new era of space exploration will teach us to stop thinking in terms of finite dimensions. The JWST continuously reveals that there seem to be no limits, even within the observable universe. For example, it recently investigated a distant galaxy and found a massive, dynamic galactic core. This core, which formed just 570 million years after the Big Bang, contains a quasar with a black hole over 1 billion times the mass of our Sun. Even as we search for exoplanets, the JWST keeps pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Consider the planet HIP 65426b, a gas giant 12 times larger than Jupiter. Discovered by Hubble in 2017, it has now been imaged directly by the JWST for the first time. Exoplanets are found by traveling before their home star or by indirect methods. These are only two approaches, and two more examples of the reality we must face. The reality that there are countless phenomena, characteristics, exceptions, and ever-new dimensions to discover in the universe. It would be downright absurd to search for an end, edges, or limits. Subscribe now and be part of every new video feature.